So the premise of Scorched came about because we saw that there was a massive issue with climate change and water scarcity. And we thought, wow, now there's something that we really should be talking about. And then we went, wow, water. That has got to be the most unsexy subject in the world. Climate change, no one, it's like, and everyone's bored of it. So how do we actually make that sexy? And so we did a whole heap of brainstorming around a table. We had 6 people around the table, and we struck upon a really simple thing of, why don't we create a what if? So we created a what if Sydney ran out of water. If it didn't rain for 200 days, what would happen to our water supplies and what would happen to our country? So we then took that premise, wrote it up. It was originally called The Day the Water Ran Out. Took it in to get development, 1 page. Instantly got $20,000 development finance for that. And so began this journey that ended up leading to creating a telemovie called Scorched that had a huge media wraparound. We didn't realise, we called it a universe, and that was exactly what we created. And that universe, we spent a huge amount of time in development workshops, really testing out looking at who is engaging on which platforms, in which way, when they were going online, why they were going online, how long they were spending online, were they watching television when they were doing it, and hence that helped inform, once we created all the characters within our story world, once we created those characters, we were then able to sort of cherry pick the ones that we thought would work on the right platforms. But most importantly, we did a huge amount of research into the story world. And yes, we set up rules, absolutely. We had in fact, one of the criticisms, which I think was a good one, was our rules were so tight that we ended up being too plausible. And because we were too plausible, the disaster scenario became too constricted. The other thing too, interestingly, with Scorch that I think is important to take note of, is we created a zeitgeist around the subject matter. By creating that 4-part documentary series which ran at prime time before the movie came out and before the whole online rollout, we started to, because that was part of the actual development, the way that I framed that OBDoc series, which was a classic, Follow the Firefighter series, was I framed it so that these guys, I'd constantly be asking them, where are you getting your water from? What are the issues with finding water? Because it was the middle of the drought. And so by doing that, I was starting to reinforce the story world to a 1 million person per week audience.